I know what you think. A video about Dragon Ball Kai versus Dragon Ball Z in 2021? Is this guy stuck in the hyperbolic time chamber from 2010? Well, no. Truth be told, I know this is an old argument, but I've never gotten to put my 2 cents in. So you're gonna sit here, even if it means I have to go full Clockwork Orange on your ass and strap you to the chair. Now, I love Dragon Ball to my core. It was my first anime and changed my taste in media for the rest of my life. Having grown up as a fan of the original dub, I wasn't sure I was going to feel about Kai after I'd heard about it, to the point that I didn't watch it until years later. Now, that may have more to do with me also trying to be a cool kid in high school, and as we all know, cool kids don't watch anime. That's a subject for another video, though. Anyhow, I was actually intrigued by the idea of a Dragon Ball show that would essentially be just the manga storyline. No more fake Namek, no more Garlic Jr., no more Otherworld Tournament. Still though, even with most of the garbage being thrown out for Kai, there was one thing I just couldn't get over, and that would be the redubbing of the entire show. I thought, how could you possibly redub one of the greatest voice-acted shows in the history of anime? God, I was an idiot. It's honestly adorable how stupid I was. But once I had graduated from high school and decided I wanted to get back into anime again, I figured, why not turn to my old favorite, only this time with a fresh coat of paint. It turns out I really liked it. They'd brought back all the voice actors I had loved so much growing up, and hearing the major improvements that had come with their years of experience really did a number on me. Sean Schemmel was bringing more joy and pure-hearted goofiness to Goku than we deserved. Christopher Sabat had taken a file to his Piccolo and Vegeta, making what was once a more coarse delivery for both in Z into a smoother, yet still deep and intimidating punch in Kai. Speaking of which, the decision to drop Vegeta's voice to a lower tone was truly great, as it fit the prideful prince even more in my opinion. Then you have your other characters like Krillin, Roshi, King Kai, and so many more, who just felt the same but more refined. It was a near perfect redubbing for me, but only near perfect at first. There were a couple voices I just couldn't stand when I first heard them. 2 of the biggest voices in the show, actually. I was scared that it may hold me back from truly loving Kai. Those voices were Young Gohan, voiced by Colleen Clinkenbeard, and Frieza by Christopher Ayers. I know, right? How could I have hated Christopher Ayers' Frieza? Also, before we move on, there will be a link in the description to a GoFundMe that is raising money for Christopher Ayers to help pay for his medical bills after a life-saving surgery. If you have anything you could donate, maybe consider throwing some his way. And if not, maybe share the link to help get more awareness around it. Thank you. So like I said, I grew up on the Z-dub. For me, a lot of the voices had cemented themselves already. To be honest, it took me a while to like Ayers' take on Frieza. It was actually on my rewatch of the Frieza saga in Kai where I learned to love his Frieza. All it took was one beautifully sadistic line uttered by Christopher Ayers, and it just clicked for me.
I think the brat should go next.
I was addicted to Christopher Ayers' performance from this point on. I wanted to hear every second, rewatch it over and over and over again. It was just so good. It is truly one of the greatest dub performances of any character we will ever receive, and might be the greatest dub performance of any villain we've ever seen. With that out of the way and my newfound love for Ayers cemented forever, there was only one hurdle to get over, and that was Gohan. To be honest, it took me a couple years to like Gohan's new voice actress. Unlike with Frieza, there was no line that was delivered that just pulled me over to be Team Colleen. She was never bad at Gohan. Honestly, she is a fantastic voice actress. But I had spent so much time between the original Z-dub and the Dragon Ball dub with Stephanie Nadolny as young Gohan and young Goku that Colleen's voice just never felt right. That was until I watched a video of Team 4 Stars where they happened to start talking about Kai, and one of them mentioned how Gohan actually sounds like a 5-year-old now, which is good since in Z, when you first meet Gohan, he is around 5 or 6. Taking that into account, I decided to watch a couple big scenes with Gohan in them, and keeping in my mind how young he is, the voice really started to grow on me. Slowly, piece by piece, Kai was overtaking Z as the superior dub. The missing piece, you ask? Music. For most people who don't like Kai, a big reason is they no longer use the Bruce Faulkner score from Z. I was one of those people as well. Now for anyone asking, how could you prefer the Faulkner score? I will simply say, I started watching after Kenji Yamamoto had already been ousted from Kai. so I never got to hear his epic plagiarized score. So once I started watching my Kai Blu-rays, they had already been brought back to the original Japanese score, which is great in its own right, and I overall actually do prefer it to the Faulkner score. Now, to my fellow Z fans who still prefer the Faulkner score, I am not saying you're wrong, but let me share with you the realization I finally came to about that score for me. The Faulkner score has amazing highs and amazing individual tracks, but it is very lacking outside those high moments. For every track like Super Namek, Super Saiyan 3, Vegeta's theme, Gohan Anger's, and Android 16's theme, there are 10 to 20 tracks that you might as well throw in the garbage, as it is just weird industrial rock that when played over the footage of Z just starts to take me out of the show a bit. Which is why that music was the perfect fit for something like Legacy of Goku, because you only needed to pick about 15 to 20 tracks, of which there are at least 15 to 20 high quality Faulkner tracks throughout all of the Z score. And they sound amazing as a MIDI soundtrack. But as a full anime soundtrack, it just doesn't work. And really, those are the main differences between Kai and Z. There were some scenes that were redrawn and look absolutely gorgeous, if not sometimes out of place with how polished they look. Certain dialogue was rewritten to better match the lip flaps, which honestly was for the best, as it helped the flow of the show, not having jarring difference between the flaps and the audio like in the original Z dub.
Frieza, stop this!
Anyways, a lot of this probably sounds like I'm hating on the Z dub, but really, it is a way for me to finally push past the nostalgia that I have. I love the Z dub, it still holds a special place in my heart, and it always will. But sometimes you have to learn to let go of your nostalgia, so you can enjoy something new that is great in its own right. The point of this video wasn't necessarily to change your mind as to why Kai is better. If you still prefer Z, more power to you. I totally get why. No, this video was more so to just talk about my journey. So, until next time.
Goodbye, Gohan.